Hello and welcome to the latest edition of True Audio Files. My name's Jim Carter. So, I'm going to go over my favorite reissues of 2021. There were quite a few good ones this year, and unfortunately there were a couple of stinkers, but we'll leave the stinkers out of there because we don't want to be negative. I was trying to keep it to mainly ones that were released that were released on vinyl, but there's going to be ones that had a vinyl release to a certain extent, and you'll see what I'm talking about later, but these aren't solely vinyl releases. At the end, we'll also kind of talk about some honorable mentions that will make their way into the list as well. But I basically have 5 box sets. Well, technically it's 6, but one is kind of a companion piece to the 5th box set. And now these are in no particular order. I don't like doing that just because it's any given day it's going to be a different one that I decide is going to be number 1. So without too much further ado here, let's go over my favorite reissues of 2021. I should also say that this isn't necessarily solely based on how well the reissue was remastered. Sometimes that's the criteria, but sometimes just a question of, the packaging, what it comes with in terms of extras, things like that. And I'll kind of go into that on each one of these as time goes on here. But let's start off with my first one. Like I said, not in any particular order, but it's Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young, Deja Vu. This is the box set that has, I think it's 4 CDs, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 4 CDs, and then it also includes an all-analog cut reissue of the album on vinyl. I will say that the outtakes and demo material that are on here are spectacular, and the remaster, or the recut, if you will, of the vinyl is actually the best version I've ever heard. And kind of the feedback I've heard, because I did a shootout on this video, is a lot of the people that have heard this and heard a lot of the other variations kind of concur that it seems like it's probably, if not the best sounding version of the album on vinyl, the one of the best. So that's pretty high praise for something nowadays, because it's rare that you get a reissue that, unless it's from an audiophile label, that's done and is as good or better than the original version. So that's definitely up there. That can definitely be number 1 on any given day, just because of the extras that are good. Not only are they good, but they sound really good. And then the vinyl, it just sounds amazing. So next up, I actually have both the CD and the vinyl version of this, but this is the CD version. I can't say which one I really like the best. I like the CD one mainly because it comes with a Blu-ray that has the high-resolution audio on it, which is basically what they used to cut the vinyl. And that also has a surround sound version of it. I would hands down pick the vinyl version if the vinyl version had that Blu-ray that came with it. For some reason, they've chosen not to put the Blu-ray with the vinyl version, which is sort of disappointing. But this one kind of barely made it, and it can definitely be kind of interchanged with some of the other honorable mentions that I'm going to say out here, but I really do like it. And the more I listened to it on the box set, the more I enjoyed it. And that is the Black Sabbath Technical Ecstasy Super Deluxe box set. This is the 5 LP version, which basically has the original album remastered. Then it's got a remix album, which basically is remixed by Steven Wilson, one of my favorite people out there, both as an artist and as a remixing engineer. He usually does surround sound versions, but there's only a stereo version of this, but it sounds the remix sounds great. And then there's some outtakes and alternative mixes, plus a live album from that era, and it's really good. It's great packaging, and some really good outtakes, and a good book with it too. This one is going to be probably not too much of a surprise if any of you that know me. But basically, I'm choosing this Destroyer, Kiss Destroyer Super Deluxe box set solely on what the content is. And it gets knocked down a couple pegs because of the cost. But I have to admit that, it's got, I think it's 4 CDs. Yeah, 4 CDs. One CD is the original album remastered, which they did a decent job on it. It's not the best, but then there's a disc that's got demos that both Gene and Paul worked on for Destroyer, which are pretty cool, actually. And on some of the Gene ones are actually demos of tracks that ended up on his solo album back in, was it 78, I guess it was. And then the other great thing is, talking about Steven Wilson again, it has a Blu-ray audio disc, which basically has a high-resolution version of the remastered audio of the original mix. Plus, it's got a surround sound version of the album done by Steven Wilson, and it's probably one of the most fun surround sound mixes I've heard Steven Wilson do. There's some albums that you don't want it to do all kinds of weird and kooky stuff, and you just kind of want it to envelop you a little bit and just make you feel like you're truly in the room with them, with the echoes and trying to recreate that hall or whatever, wherever the studio that it was in. But with this one, it's Destroyer, and it's, one of those albums that just is over the top as it is, like a lot of Kiss albums are. And I think it just deserved that extra little kookiness, if you will, of the 5.1 mix. So I really enjoyed that one a lot. The extras were really good in it. Still, in my opinion, way overpriced. If it was about, half price, or maybe, maybe a, I don't know, 50%, 40% off of the selling price, probably would be a more appropriate price for it. But honestly, it's still a great collection of stuff. So definitely in my top 5 for sure this year. So the last one, again, it's not necessarily least, but just because of the sheer volume of information that's in this, it is Metallica Blacklist. Super Deluxe Blacklist. That's a precursor to what I'm about to talk about. Black Album. Basically, I don't even remember. There's like 14 CDs and 10 DVDs and like 4 or 5 records. Just an overload of stuff. It's actually pretty overwhelming how much stuff was actually on that. Just the sheer amount of stuff. Because not only are there... the concerts, quite frankly, if you know me, I could do with or without them. I'm not a huge fan of concerts. Prefer studio recordings. I know I'm weird. There are rare exceptions to the live thing that I really like. But anyways, there's probably, 5 or 6 concerts at least in there, if not more. But it's really more about the, the demo tracks, the rehearsal tracks, the kind of the working demos where they're trying to work the riffs out and stuff like that. All that kind of stuff. I really like that. And Metallica probably does the best job of being probably the most thorough and giving you an inside look at the album that's being made. So, if you're a big fan of any of their first, 4 or 5 albums, those Super Deluxe box sets are great for that. So now when I told you before that I had kind of 6 box sets, is because there's a companion piece to that box set. And initially I bought it as a high resolution download, but I decided to, after listening to it for quite a bit, I decided to get it on vinyl because I just thought it was that special, and I think the proceeds went to charity as well. I'm not sure how often I'm going to listen to it, just because each record's probably got almost every record has one song on it done like 10 times, but it's still pretty amazing. There's some awesome covers here, but it's basically the Blacklist. I think it was kind of a cool, upside down, but I think it's really cool how they have the spines spell out Blacklist, and on one other side of it, it also spells out Metallica. I'm not gonna pull it completely out, but you can See here, see it says Metallica, which is very cool. Had a little frustration with this one because I got two record number 3s. It's a 7-record set, and it took me a while to get. Instead of a record 3 and 4, I got 2 record 3s, but I eventually got the that second, third, number 3 swapped out for a 4. But there's just some awesome covers in there. I mean, Chris Stapleton comes to mind. There's a Mexican band I can't remember the name of now, where there's like a Mexican a version that's kind of done Mexican style, and there's just a lot of different variations of that, of all the different songs in there that are done really well. And it came out the same time as the Black album did, and I just think it was really done well. And you know, since they're giving it to charity, I just thought it was worth buying the physical copy just because I liked so many of the covers that were on there. There's only a handful of ones that I don't like on it, so it was really well done. I mean, there's some punk bands doing some stuff on there as well, and I want to say Off does one, which is a kind of a fun band, a favorite of mine, I think. A few others, but anyways, really cool. You should check it out, at least stream it and check it out if you haven't already. So that's kind of my top reissues for this year, and the honorable mentions I will talk about. And this one I only got an honorable mention because I don't have a physical copy of it, but Lee Morgan's The Complete Lighthouse, Live at the Lighthouse box set is great. The vinyl box set was just way too much money, and it was the high-resolution downloads were just a fraction of the cost, so I couldn't justify buying the record box set. But it's really good. For those of you who had the money, I hope you got the chance to get that Lee Morgan Live at the Lighthouse complete box set, because it is really good. And I guess it was cut from the analog master tapes, so there's something to be said for that. That one is one that I'll probably end up kicking myself for not getting it, but like I said, the downloads were, I think, like a tenth of the cost, and they were high resolution downloads, so I just couldn't justify the cost of the vinyl. So the other ones are more of a series of audiophile reissues, or I guess that I'm calling them audiophile reissues because I don't know. I guess technically they all are, but the Tone Poets series, as usual, was really great this year. Every one of the albums, I bought every one of the albums, and all of them sounded great, were pressed great. And also the one-steps, obviously. Every one of the ones that I got this year sounded great, were pressed great, quiet, all that kind of stuff. And with all the great announcements of the upcoming ones that are coming, it's sure to be an exciting year next year, and who knows, maybe individual ones will make my top 5. But I think I don't think I'm leaving anything out as my favorites of this year. I'd love to hear what you have to say. What are your top favorite reissues of this year? I'd love to hear what you have to say. If you liked this video, hit that like button, comment below, subscribe to my channel if you liked what you see here, hit that alert bell to let you know when my new videos come out. We're closing in on the end of the year, so I hope you have a great rest of the year, and I believe that my next video will probably be out at the brand new year. So have a great new year, and we will see you on the other side. Thanks a lot.